Am I on now? I'm on now. I can hear it. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Testing, testing. My talk title today is Divine Order in All Things. So it's all in divine order. How many times do we hear that or say that? It's all in divine order. So from the revealing word, it says divine order is the first law of the universe. Indeed, there could be no universe unless its various parts were kept in perfect order. The facts of spirit are of spiritual character, and when understood in their right relation, they are orderly. Orderliness is law and is the test of true science. Divine order is one of the more complex powers that we have innately within us. And from my perspective, can also be one that is the most easily misunderstood. We often use the term, it's all in divine order, when everything goes the way we like it to go. But what about when it goes the way we don't like it to go? Then is it in divine order then? Just a question. So divine order is when we look at the universe and we see everything, it's in perfect order. The stars, the sun, the moons, the planets, everything is lined up perfectly and stays, rotates and moves in a perfect order. And if anything was out of its order, we would not be here. We wouldn't be here. So everything is in, everything has its place and has its order and is working toward the good of life, for the unfolding of life, because the universe is always in movement. And so as the universe is always in movement, then we too are also always in movement and a part of that movement. We are an intrinsic part of the divine order of the universe, an intrinsic part of that divine order. Everything about us is created in divine order. Everything about us is created in divine order. So the power of divine order is the power of mind, idea, and expression. Mind, idea, and expression. God mind emits the energy that becomes an idea that is translated through the consciousness of the receiver. And from that comes expression. So God mind thinks, divine intelligence thinks. We receive the thought, but we receive the thought at the level of consciousness that we are at. So you can think of it like a radio station or like a radio, and you can tune the radio to different frequencies. And at one frequency, you might get, classical music. Another one, you might get the news, and the other one, you might get country western, and then you get rock. I mean, it just depends on where you're at on the frequency as to what channel you get, right? So we're frequencies. And so it's whatever level of frequency that we are vibrating at that we hear the idea. So we're vibrating at a higher frequency. We're going to hear ideas of love and peace, of joy, of wholeness. And if we're vibrating at another frequency, we might hear, the worry, the concern, the what ifs, so our job is to step up here. Our job is to be at that higher frequency so that when we receive the ideas, we are receiving the highest ideas. And then we manifest them. That is divine law. They automatically manifest through us when we vibrate at that frequency. So in Mysteries of Genesis, Charles Fillmore says, God, the great universal mind, brought forth an idea, a human, perfect like himself. And that perfect human is potentially in every individual, working him herself into manifestation in compliance with law. And so brought forth an idea, a human, perfect. That is that Christ consciousness that is within us. That is that perfection. And that is what is awakening. So there's been lots and lots of books written, and it seems to be really a big thing these days to discover what your purpose is. What is my purpose? What is my meaning for being here? What is the meaning for this ministry being here? And these are all really good questions. These are all really good questions. I am not downplaying that. But I do want to say that when I first started reading those books, I read those books from the context of, what's in it for Charlie? If I discover my divine purpose, then what's in it for me? But something has shifted, because that's really not what our divine purpose is about. It's not about what's in it for me or for you. What it's about is it is about what's in it for all. Because as each of us develops our gifts and our talents that we have been given, then we have the capacity to create something much larger, much grander than it. We actually have the capacity to create what we say we want. What we say we want. In her book, Soul Mastery, Reverend Tony Baim says that we are receivers of energy, and it is the frequency that we resonate that we will receive messages. It is from that frequency that we will bring into manifestation our beliefs through our actions. Where we run into trouble is when we say one thing and do another. In the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word, your thoughts, and your actions. That when we think one thing, or we speak one thing, we say we want one thing, but we think and do something different, we create a block within ourselves, and we are not in coherence. We're not in alignment. And so we cannot bring in what we say we want because of this incoherence. We have to be in alignment with what we say we want. And if we say we want something, then we have to back that up with our thoughts and our actions. So this is where affirmations and denials come in. We affirm the truth. We deny that the thought that is not in alignment with what we say we want has no power. We deny that it has any power in our lives. And we speak the truth. Now, that may sound like it's in contradiction to what I just said about whatever we say we want, we need to be in alignment with, but that's how we get in alignment with it, is when we consciously make an effort to speak the truth, as we consciously make that effort to, and we know that we're doing it to be in alignment with what we want, that we are creating a new neural pathway in our mind, so that that is the pathway that we go down, so that we express at our highest level at any moment. Because being impeccable with our word is telling the truth, and the truth with a capital T. So the truth that is the truth, that is the truth all the time. So I am divine order unfolding in perfection. I am expressing my highest self now. I am divine order unfolding in perfection. I express my highest self now. And so that was our affirmation today. So I'm going to invite you to say that with me again. I am divine order unfolding in perfection. I am expressing my highest self now. I am expressing my highest self now. That doesn't mean that you know, I won't make mistakes. But what it means is that when I come up into a situation and worry and fret wants to come up, or judgment wants to come up, I can say, I am divine order unfolding in perfection. I express my highest self now. And my highest self is not about worry and condemnation and judgment and resentment and unforgiveness. That's not what I'm about. I'm about expressing love, peace, joy. I'm about expressing hope for the world. So we're in the midst of Lent. And Lent is a time of letting go. It's a time of being willing to surrender. So the question I would ask this morning is, what are we letting go of? What are we willing to let go of? Are we willing to consciously release and make room for a new life to express through us? And what would that look like? The rebirth of a new life. In a couple of weeks, we'll be entering into Holy Week, a time of remembering the walk Jesus took in order to overcome death. What if this demonstration is about teaching us to overcome death? And I'm not necessarily talking about death of the physical body, but to overcome when something in our life dies, when that old self, we allow that old self to pass away. And on Easter, we allow that new birth to come forward. We are in a time of great change, and we all know that. We all know that. So we have an opportunity here. We have really an opportunity to enter into a rebirthing. So I was introduced to this book this week called The Rebirthing of God by John Philip Newell. And in it, he says, there are three main responses or reactions to collapse. The first is to deny it's happening. I'm just going to pretend that's not happening because that's not pretty. The second is to frantically try to shore up the foundations of the old thing. And I see this happen so often where something has shifted and changed, and people go, but what we used to do is we used to do it this way. So let's shore up those old walls. Let's get that going again. The third, which I invite us into, is to ask what is trying to be born that requires a radical reorientation of our vision. What is the new thing that is trying to emerge from deep within us and from deep within the collective soul? And I just love that. What is it that is trying to be rebirthed and emerge from within us? And can we open our eyes to see what that is? What if when we look at the death of Jesus as the death of the old way of doing and believing, and that the resurrection is this new birth? How would that change? Excuse me. How would that change how we experience Easter this year? If we really looked at Easter this year as being a time of rebirthing, of having new eyes. To surrender is to release our hold on ways of doing things because that's how it's always been done. To surrender is to release and allow the raising of our energy to a vibrational level that is in alignment with the good we wish to live out. It is about allowing a new vision, a new way of seeing ourselves, each other, and the world. Now, part of this whole law of divine order is really about the creative process. We use that the mind, idea, expression in the creative process as co-creators. We have an idea and we contemplate that idea and we take action on that idea and it comes into manifestation. And we do that with the things that we think that we really want. Oh, I really want a new car. I'm gonna really think about the car I want, and I'm gonna think about that car, and I'm gonna manifest that car. And yes, you can do that. But you know what you really want? Actually, I know what you really want, because it's what we all really want. We all really want to wake up and live from the truth of who we are and what we are. We want to know our power. We want to know our divinity. And so as we express that divinity more and more, as we practice expressing that divinity in our everyday situations, we raise our vibration and we raise our vibration and we make a difference. We make a difference for the person who is sitting next to us. We make a difference for the person who is on the other side of the planet. We make a difference and we help others to awaken to that truth of who they are. And guess what? All that other stuff that you think you want is added. It's bonus. It's just the bonus. Because when we're at that higher level of vibration, we invite in all the good that we want. But we have to be willing to release our worry and our what ifs. We have to be willing to release our resentments. We have to be willing to consciously step up into that awareness that I am the divine, unfolding in perfection. I express my highest good now, in this moment, and in every moment. So let's take that into prayer. So we just breathe into this moment. Knowing that as we breathe into this moment, that we breathe ourselves into the presence that is already here, that is within us, that is actually closer than our breath. We open our hearts and our minds in this presence. For thee I thirst. For thee I thirst. Into thy hands I commit my spirit, my soul, my body, every aspect of my life. Thy will is my will. Thy will be done through me. Reveal that which is to be revealed, and heal that which is to be healed, that I may glorify you, God. Entering into the vibration of this sacred prayer. We hold open a space for our true self to be revealed to us. That highest self that we express in this moment and in all moments. We let go of any thoughts that would hold us back or that are incongruous with the truth of who we are. We come into coherence, full coherence in mind and body, in spirit, soul, wholeness. And in this very moment, we give thanks. We give thanks for the activity of spirit in and out and through and as our lives. We give thanks for all that we are, all that we have been called to do, knowing that the ever-present presence sustains us. We are truly blessed And for this, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.